If you were to ask many people as well as creators what was the most iconic year of YouTube, it's likely that a huge number would say 2016. This was truly the year that YouTube became what it was always building to from the start. Random personalities who came from nowhere could purchase a mic, editing software, and go on to make millions of dollars, cultivating huge fan bases in the process. The endless feuds and clashes between creators in 2016 were not simply fights between individual YouTubers, but entire fan bases, some of which consisting of millions. Going through the various events that took place across 2016 YouTube, it's not as if this was the year where well-made, thoughtful and innovative content was at its peak, but it was by a long shot the most entertaining year on the platform, where individual creators ran the platform before the Jimmy Kimmels of the world and the Viners took over for good. This year was the beginning of the end for what once was the Wild West of the internet, the last frontier. Like any artistic endeavour, whether it be filmmaking, music or sports, something that was once born out of passion would eventually become sanitized, with a small number of ruling corporate elites deciding what everyone should watch, and what should be classed as popular. The fallout from the great many scandals that took place during this year arguably played a significant role in the events that took place in 2017, forever changing the platform, from a place where someone like PewDiePie could be king, to a place where a multi-million-dollar industry like T-Series would now be number one. The shift reminds me of the contrast between the likes of bands that came up in the 60s, 70s and 80s, the likes of the Rolling Stones, Queen, Pink Floyd, bands that were formed organically, people who met in person, raw talent coming together, versus how the X Factor took over the music scene in the early 2000s, where judges, most likely basing their opinion on who was the most marketable, would tell people to think. This contestant, now mostly judged on their looks, their ability to sell records, as opposed to their singing ability and ability to write their own music. This contestant would now receive sort of corporate backing and be pushed ahead of others. This reminds me of the shift that happened between 2016 and 2017 YouTube, and serves as a microcosm of the events I'm going to explore over this next series of videos. The main players during this year, from Keemstar, H3, Filthy Frank, even at the higher end such as KSI and PewDiePie, were all people who came up making videos in their bedrooms, editing away on cheap software, slowly gaining fans. This is what the idea of a YouTuber was supposed to be. I'll talk about how the fallout from the most entertaining year on the site, the shift in political events, as well as a number of other isolated incidents led to 2017, and in turn the now sanitized corporate website we have today. Daniel Keem got his start running various troll channels and networks, mainly interacting in the COD community. The vast majority of people just think Keem got his big break in 2016 and through his work with Drama Alert. But Keem was like the villain who showed up in the background of other infamous YouTube stories. For example, June the King, a YouTuber who makes documentaries on others who've had a steep rise and fall on the platform. And hilariously, Keem is featured in nearly all of his videos. Keem has actually been around for so long that he even featured in the Wings of Redemption backstory.
Listen, Wings. Sometimes we as human beings, we just have to look down when things are tough and look at what we have. I know I'm sounding like a Hallmark card.
What
right
do I have, Keemstar? I have a night full of drama. I have El Presto trying to get big off me by threatening to put the FBI on me. I have one of the biggest channels in the gaming on YouTube trying to shut me down while I'm having one of the worst months of my life. What do I have?
Wings, think about what you just said. You said that you have El Presador.
Nowadays, Keem is one of the most divisive people on the platform, but the man is also truly uncancelable. No one can really take him out. He's like that season 1 anime villain, who's the big bad for the first run of the show, gets defeated, and then shows up for the rest of the series as a comic relief. Keemstar's Drama Alert really took off and played a significant role in the landscape of 2016 YouTube. Even though back then Keem would try and defend the journalistic credibility of the show by stating that he was objectively reporting.
I report the news, I don't create the news. But
in reality, Drama Alert instigated, built on, and was at the epicenter of many of the key events that took place during the year. Keemstar's infamy and reputation as the resident villain of the platform was solidified right at the start of the year, where an employee of Drama Alert supplied Keemstar with wrong information that RuneScape streamer Tony was a convicted sex offender. Keemstar did try everything in his power to rectify the situation, however many would claim that the damage caused by such an allegation outweighs anything Keem could have done afterwards. Thankfully, Tony would get out of the situation unscathed, actually growing followers in the process, and Keem did take full responsibility and try and make amends. However, it was a huge scandal at the start of the year, which is continually brought up in Keemstar Exposed videos. Drama Alert would continue to grow despite this setback. As well as making its fair share of enemies, Keemstar would form friendships with other notable 2016 players, including Grade A, Under A and Leafy is Here. Grade and Leafy were commentary YouTubers with massive fan bases, Leafy would blow up in 2016 due to a combination of easily to produce clickbait videos, being out in front of the ever-growing commentary trend, as well as his fans spamming other comment sections, most notably with the hiss and nice shirt comments. Grade had a unique, albeit cheap style of producing videos using Microsoft Paint. Grade would blow up due to a number of viral videos, such as ones criticising Nicole Arbour, reaction channels and prank channels. This was a perfect storm for a channel to grow at the time, as pranksters, Arbour as well as reaction channels were some of the most hated and easily to criticise on 2016 YouTube. It was an easy way for a channel to show they had some degree of credibility and to cast themselves as a sort of protagonist by going after these channels. Both Grade and Leafy would feature on Drama Alert, with Grade debating prankster Joseph Costello, while Leafy went on with a YouTuber Mr. Black Darkness, who had previously put a curse on Leafy.
These two have been going back and forth, and Mr. Dark, what is it, Mr. Dark Magic?
It's Mr. Black Darkness 666.
He uploaded a video putting a spell on Leafy with a bunch of death threats. So we have them both here to talk this thing out. Leafy, what is your standpoint?
Weird as hell, but pretty damn good television. And I guess maybe the curse worked, so maybe Mr. Black Darkness had the last laugh. The first serious nuclear bomb that dropped on YouTube this year was the Keemstar Basherverse saga. Brandon Asher was a Minecraft YouTuber with a sizable audience. Upon vetting for a job, it was discovered that Basher had a previous conviction for an unlawful transaction with a minor, who was allegedly 15 while Basher was 18 at the time, when they began a romantic relationship. With the news slowly coming out, Brandon decided to preempt the story, releasing a video about his life story where he detailed his conviction and a confession. This preemptive confession would not deter Keemstar from latching onto the story, as he began making Drama Alert videos about the situation, as well as memeing on and poking fun at Basher on Twitter. This eventually caused Basher to release an infamous breakdown video.
I'm done. I'm so freaking tired of it. I'm going absolutely freaking mad. I didn't expect to freaking get this big, and I didn't expect, my past and everything to get all out there, and Keemstar just keeps freaking, it's just constant barrage. All my videos are I've been up for so long, and I'm so stressed right now, and it's just, I'm done. Fuck! Fuck you! Fuck you! I hate you all who are attacking me constantly!
Keem would hit back and let on that Basher was faking the reaction to manipulate his fans. This story would progress onwards with other players entering the scene, such as Basher's former friend Garrett, and a doxer known as Smile for YouTube Gaming. Keem and Smile for YouTube would interact with Brandon on Drama Alert, where they spin the story into one of betrayal, where Basher's friend Garrett and his girlfriend Clara went behind his back and threw him under the bus, which would lead to yet another infamous and iconic Drama Alert moment.
On her freaking live streams everything's all fucking fine. I don't fucking care anymore! You used me, you got fucking caught! I don't care anymore! This is bullshit! I don't give a fuck. I don't fucking care. At least in the end I got the fucker in the ass.
What do you say?
The image of Keemstar eating popcorn while a man's life crumbles in front of him solidified Keemstar as the resident YouTube villain, whether he wanted it or not, a role that I think he's gone on to accept in recent years. Drama Alert would also go on to cover the Tony Turner sexual assault allegations. Turner, who ran the hugely popular channel Tobuscus, was accused by his ex-girlfriend April Turner of drugging her, among far other more sinister accusations. Several other women will come out with similar accusations against Turner. Despite Turner claiming these allegations were false and even proving some of them to be so, his career would never recover, and this would be the first YouTube giant of the year to fall. Another YouTuber who played a prominent role in the landscape that was YouTube 2016 was Ethan Klein, along with his wife Ela. While they were already popular before 2016, this was the year where the couple solidified themselves as major players. One of the reasons for the couple's success was the landscape of YouTube at the time. A lot of popular content on the site was undeniably terrible, such as pranksters, pickup artists, and other cringy celebrities like DJ Khaled making viral videos. Being a sort of critical voice of reason enabled Ethan to cast himself as a sort of protagonist, going after these channels run by grifters and scammers. While Keem slotted into the role of villain, Ethan fell into more of a likeable, heroic sort of role. Hilarious to say that looking back now, I know. The Fine Brothers controversy also took place during the start of this year and enabled many YouTubers to make viral videos criticising the brothers. This was arguably the first major YouTube extinction event, where a creator would do something really bad and hundreds of other creators would criticise them and that channel would lose hundreds of thousands of subs. The Fine Brothers, which is a reaction channel, tried to copyright various terms. The most egregious of all is the word react.
Excited to announce React World, which is a first of its kind program that allows people and companies to license all our popular shows online so that anyone, even you watching right now, can create your own versions in a fully legal way and be part of a new and exciting global community.
In entertainment industry terms, when you create a version of a show based on someone else's format, this is called licensing, which many TV shows have done over time. For example, Britain's Got Talent and America's Got Talent. It's the same show format, but licensed legally to be created in other locations. So with React World, we've created a new way to license formats in the digital age.
And unlike in TV where you have to pay huge amounts up front, we're providing the license with no upfront fees. Instead, we're sharing revenue with you after you start uploading. Along with the license, we're going to be giving you a bunch of resources to help you create the shows, make money, and get featured and promoted by us in various ways. Find out more in the links below.
Part of why we believe this initiative is important is due to witnessing many creators, ourselves included, having their shows and formats blatantly stolen by companies and people, both online and on television. And we implore everyone not to support those companies and channels. When you notice someone ripping someone's format off, don't stand for it.
The issue of free speech and the abuse of copyright law was highly contentious at this time, with many creators having videos taken down due to YouTube's broken copyright system. So when a group of YouTubers themselves tried to actually copyright a word, the community's reaction to this was furious. The backlash led to a dramatic drop in subscribers, with upwards of 675,000 accounts collectively unsubscribing from the React and Fine Brothers channels in protest. H3H3 were one of many channels that made viral videos criticising the brothers. Ethan would also go on to make other extremely well received videos, such as one about SoFlo Antonio, a prankster slash content stealer and internet spammer, Joey Salads, another prankster, as well as the channel's biggest hit Vape Nation, when Ethan comically dressed up and walked around New York with a vape getting comedic reactions from other people. While there was talk later on that Ethan actually ripped the idea from Filthy Frank, the video was a smash hit, racking up 28 million views.
Well, I was fucking trying to. No, it's my turn, clown, okay? It's my turn. Ethan, stop stealing your jokes and stop telling the same ones and you should be good.
Oh, because he stole the Vape Nation meme?
Oh, yeah, tell everyone. Don't tell them where they stole it from, just say you stole it.
Yeah. The number one gem of Ethan Klein, Vape Nation, was a stolen idea from a friend, a close friend. And who's the type of person?
Shut up, team! I told you this. You're not allowed to repeat it.
Ethan would insert himself into the drama scene and arguably drew first blood in the commentary civil war by making a video attacking Leafy. Ethan made a number of valid points criticising Leafy's clickbait style videos, as well as Leafy's MO of usually attacking channels with little to no subs. Leafy was also in hot water at the time for making a video insulting Tommy NC, a small YouTuber who had autism. Leafy's fans would go onto Tommy's channel and insulting him, which caused Tommy to release a video where he's extremely upset about the situation. He released a video called "I'm Getting Death Threats, Leafy is Here Why," in which Tommy, upset, recorded himself crying, explaining how he's getting a lot of hate and death threats from Leafy's fans. This arguably caused H3H3 Productions to make a video about the situation.
Hey guys, just wanted to weigh in on something I've been thinking about for a while and just saw recently something that happened. Most of you guys probably know Leafy is here, a popular YouTuber who's been blowing up big time. And not only him, but a whole genre of YouTubers of these kind of commentary channels where they show video game footage and then talk about some kind of video and react to a video. I've been putting off talking about this because it's just, I'm actually friends with these guys, so it's awkward and it's uncomfortable. But for some reason, we as a community have been giving these guys a pass. So what happened? Leafy made a video about a guy like he usually does, calling him a fucking asshole, cringy, weirdo, you know, whatever, all the stuff he usually does. And it turns out that this guy is actually autistic and has a YouTube channel. He's a YouTuber. So essentially, he has made fun of someone who actually has a mental disability, and they made a video of themselves crying, saying they're getting death threats, and he's really upset.
The situation would sort of help lump Leafy in with Keemstar as one of YouTube's resident antagonists. Grade A as well, due to his friendship with these two and his vitriol that he would attack the subjects of his videos with, was also put in this category. These three became known as the Axis of Evil on YouTube, essentially three commentators who were all friends and made their channels off criticising others. H3's video on Leafy received very mixed reviews. Many people would dislike bomb Leafy's video and unsubscribe from him, although this backlash was tempered slightly when Leafy hit back, exposing Ethan for also making videos attacking children. Ethan had also acted very friendly to Leafy before, but suddenly threw Leafy under the bus without any notice. Leafy and his fans would argue that given the pair's previous relationship and rapport, Ethan should have at least messaged Leafy first to voice his concerns over his content, rather than blindside him making a viral video calling him and other commentators toxic. Due to Leafy's major success, many other commentator channels began to spring up. Most of these were pretty terrible and essentially children with nothing of value to say in their videos. One such channel that made it big, however, carved out a loyal fan base and still thrives to this day was Pyrocynical. Pyro has been involved in a fair share of controversies himself, however he's always managed to rack up a decent defense of himself in these controversies. Leafy, in his counterattack against Ethan, would expose various messages Ethan sent Leafy insulting Pyro behind his back, famously stating the line, "Don't give him a platform to defend himself." This line in and of itself is particularly interesting, as while it was said pretty innocuously, the line has been remembered for years, maybe for how telling it was of Ethan's later character. While Ethan and Hila seemingly came out slightly on top during this feud, come across as the more principled people, Leafy's rebuttal was solid enough that the two effectively entered into a stalemate and ceased making any videos on each other. It was apparent that YouTube as a platform was changing as a whole. There was always drama and creator feuds, but the majority of interactions between YouTubers before 2016 was primarily collaborations. Now there were channels dedicated to YouTube drama, and fights between YouTubers dominated the website. There was an inevitable attempt by the settled YouTube establishment to curb this growing trend. In April 2016, PewDiePie released a 3-minute video where he expressed his concerns over the growing trend and mob mentality that was taking over the culture of the website. While the video was largely poorly received, to be fair to PewDiePie, he didn't really say anything that hypocritical, outside of the fact he doesn't like where the website is growing despite the fact he's bringing attention to drama channels.
Channels now focusing solely on YouTube drama. It's just growing bigger and bigger. And it's created this mob mentality where everyone is so on edge and everyone is so ready to attack their next target of someone fucking up or doing something bad.
This is also a time where it could be argued that PewDiePie wasn't universally beloved as he is today. What made PewDiePie as beloved amongst the wider YouTube community was his stand against the Wall Street Journal and for what he represented in his rivalry with T-Series. This backlash would become much more prominent when Markiplier and Matthew Santoro would make their own YouTube is changing videos. These two videos were not so well received. KSI, for example, would make his own response back stating how stupid it was for PewDiePie and others to be complaining about YouTube drama, when by making the videos they're effectively engaging in it.
And they are. So PewDiePie talked about how YouTubers are jumping on these drama topics because they know it's going to get them more views and attention. But haven't you just done that? Your video has literally just done that. If anything, you're letting more people know about this YouTube drama. God forbid someone having an opinion on a topic. Now in the description you say, I'm not calling out or referring to any specific group or individual in this video. But it's so obvious who you're talking about. Like, come on. You literally said in your video that there are channels dedicated to drama, to YouTube drama. We all know.
Markiplier's video would also be slammed for largely ripping PewDiePie's video while making it 12 minutes long and saying nothing of substance. It was Matthew Santoro's video, however, that would completely blow back in his face, when Grade A made a response highlighting that Matt really shouldn't be acting holier than thou when he had in fact plagiarized many of his own videos from a website called Listverse.
You guys, I've been really bummed about the state of YouTube, and it's starting to make me sad. I've just felt down about making YouTube videos.
Matt's like the golden boy of YouTube. Matt has no reason to worry about drama, does he? Why would Matt care so much about drama? Well, let me tell you, Matthew Santoro has some serious skeletons in his closet. Let me explain.
You know, once in a while, there are moments that come along in life that just make you lose all faith in society as a whole. Now would be one of those moments.
That's correct, Matt. Yes, it would. In his video, Matthew talks about drama being a problem on this website. But there's something else that happens on YouTube now and then, right? Which is such a big problem when it happens that it makes drama look like nothing.
Fame. It's something that many of us would love to have.
And it seems as if Matthew Santoro will stop at nothing to get it. Listen, before I say this, let me make sure I word myself very carefully, alright? Because I believe it would be very reasonable to say that from the evidence that I've seen and that I'm about to show you in a second, YouTube's golden boy, Matthew Santoro, plagiarizes like a motherfucker. I've seen evidence that Matthew Santoro plagiarizes a ton of his material from a website called listfirst.com. And honestly, right, that fucking sickens me. Again, let me word myself very fucking carefully, okay? I am not saying that he's a plagiarist. All I'm gonna do is show you the evidence and you make your own conclusions, okay? Alright, fantastic. This is not the only video and article that are suspiciously similar, right? But let me just show you the example of one particular video. On November the 5th, 2014, listverse.com published an article called 10 Weirdly Famous People. What it is, right, is it's an article talking about 10 people who are famous for really weird reasons, right? However, on November the 10th, 2014, literally 5 days later, Matthew Santoro made a video called 10 People Famous for Really Weird Things, which is a video also talking about 10 people who are famous for really weird reasons. What a fucking coincidence!
So ironically, in an attempt to stop the growing tide of creator feuds and drama, these anti-drama videos would unearth another Fine Bros cancellation event. In the end, Matthew Santoro would be disliked bombed for a while and lose some subs, but was able to recover. His presence on the website would dwindle in the years to come, until he eventually left the platform in August 2021. This wouldn't be the only controversy that Matthew Santoro was involved in 2016. He had previously made a video detailing the abuse he'd suffered at the hands of Nicole Arbour in their relationship. This was another quite large event which caused many other YouTubers to pitch in and slate Arbour, Drama Alert of course being one of them. Although people who missed YouTube 2016 probably wouldn't believe me, Boogie2988 was also a channel held in high esteem during this time, and would regularly make videos giving his take on things. It could be argued that Boogie's fence-sitting approach and poor reactions to minute criticisms of his take were what planted the seeds for his later downfall. These events would only cover up until April of 2016 and scratch the surface for what is to follow later on in the year. While I did set up the position of the so-called Axis of Evil as well as Ethan Klein, there were other players, ones who would arguably be the kings of 2016, which I will detail in part 2.
Forces are the safe that burn crosses. Some of those that work forces are the safe that burn crosses. Some of those that work forces are the safe that burn crosses. Some of those that work forces draw the safe that burn crosses. Killing in the